Let's be clear, this isn't just about catching a bug. This is the story of a war, a really high-stakes, 8-day biological conflict fought right on the battleground of your own body. Today, we're going to map out the entire campaign for you, from the very first invasion to that final, hard-won victory. You know that feeling, right? One minute you're fine, you're going about your day, and the next, bam. It feels like you've been hit by a truck you never even saw coming. You're just down, totally overwhelmed by some unseen force. Well, that's not just getting sick. That's the opening shot of the flu. And it's that brutal, classic 1-2 punch. The fever just spikes out of absolutely nowhere, and this deep, throbbing ache settles right into your bones. It's an exhaustion so intense that even just lying still feels like a massive effort. So I want you to forget everything you think you know about just the flu. We're going in. Think of us as your war correspondents for today. We're going to take you deep behind enemy lines to witness the minute-by-minute, day-by-day battle for control. You know, every war begins with a single shot. But this one starts in complete silence, with an enemy that slips right past your outer defenses before you even have a clue it's there. This right here is day 0. The enemy, the influenza virus. It travels undercover. It's airborne, hiding out in these microscopic respiratory droplets that get launched by a cough, a sneeze, or even just a conversation. It finds its way into your system, and without a single symptom, the invasion has begun. And once it's inside, the virus wastes 0 time. It literally hijacks your own cells, turning them into little factories to build more viral soldiers. Your body sounds the alarm, and at that moment, war is declared. Those symptoms you feel, that's the cannon fire and the shockwaves you're feeling from the front line. Okay, so the first 72 hours are just a relentless blitz. Day 1 hits you like a freight train. That's that abrupt, sudden start of the fever and chills. Then on day 2, the symptoms really dig in and get worse. By day 3, maybe day 4, you are at the absolute peak of the battle. You feel miserable for a very good reason. Your body is engaged in total war. But here's something absolutely incredible about this battle. That feeling of being completely run over, the virus isn't actually doing that to you directly. Those intense, debilitating body aches are, wait for it, friendly fire. They're caused by your own immune system, releasing a chemical flood of cytokines and interferons to fight the invaders. Your body is basically carpet bombing the enemy, and you're feeling every single one of those explosions. Wild, right? And this battle, it isn't just happening inside you. When the flu hits a whole community, it can completely overwhelm our systems. In just one recent flu season, DeKalb County's emergency partner AMR reported a staggering 60% increase in flu-related 911 calls. That shows you the real-world impact of this invisible war. Now, in any conflict, intelligence is absolutely key. You have to know your enemy. So, is it the truly formidable influenza virus? Or is it its less aggressive cousin, the common cold? Making that right call early on, it changes everything. Here's one of your most reliable pieces of intel. A cold usually just kind of creeps up on you, right? A slow, gradual build of symptoms over a few days. The flu, though, the flu is an ambush. It is abrupt and it is sudden. You can often pinpoint the exact hour you went from feeling totally fine to feeling completely and utterly wiped out. And the tactical differences are really stark. A high fever, super common with the flu, pretty rare with a cold. Severe body aches and that crushing fatigue, those are the absolute hallmarks of influenza. A cold might give you a runny nose and a bit of a cough, but the flu feels like a full-body assault. Okay, the enemy is identified, the fight is on. So how do you win? We're going to move from gathering intelligence to actual strategy. This is your home front battle plan. These are your 4 pillars of victory. First, you have to rest relentlessly. Seriously, this isn't a suggestion, it's a strategic command. Your body needs every single ounce of energy for the fight. Second, hydrate continuously. Water, tea, broth, those are the critical supply lines for your immune system's troops. Then, medicate wisely to manage symptoms, and try to nourish your defenses with light foods like soup when you can. You can also bring in some specialized tactics for comfort and support. A simple saltwater gargle can do wonders for a raw, sore throat. Foods that are rich in zinc might help support your immune response. And using a humidifier or just inhaling some steam can bring so much relief to a dry cough and a tight chest. But listen, in this war, time is everything. If you're going to call in the heavy artillery, I'm talking about antiviral medications, you have to act fast. They are overwhelmingly most effective when you start them within the first 48 hours of your symptoms. This move can literally shorten the entire war by a day, maybe even two. Now, this next part is a non-negotiable command. There are times when home care just isn't enough. If you experience any of these red flags, difficulty breathing, chest pain, sudden confusion, or that really scary relapse where you feel better then suddenly get much worse, you have to seek immediate medical care. These are signs the battle is turning against you and you need reinforcements fast. All right, let's move to the final phase of this conflict. You've made it through the worst of the storm. Now it's all about assessing the damage, cleaning up the battlefield, and beginning that long road to recovery. So here's how victory usually unfolds. Around day 4, the tide starts to turn. The fever breaks, the aches lessen. By days 5 and 6, you're gaining ground, feeling noticeably better. And on day 7, you've pretty much won the battle. You're generally not contagious to others anymore. Day 8 and beyond is all about rebuilding, though you might not feel at full strength just yet. So the war is won. The invading virus has been defeated, it's been cleared from your system. But then why are you still coughing? Why does this ghost of the illness stick around? This, my friends, is the cleanup operation. It's called a post-infectious or post-viral cough. Your airways are just still inflamed and really irritated from that intense battle. It's annoying, for sure, but it's a totally normal part of the healing process, and it can linger for anywhere from 3 to 8 weeks as your body repairs all the damage. And here's one final piece of intelligence to remember. The flu is sneaky. You can actually be contagious for about a day before your symptoms even show up. That's why covering coughs, washing your hands, and staying home is so critical. You're protecting your allies before you even know you're a threat. You know, ultimately, the best strategy of all is to prevent the war from ever even starting. Getting your annual flu shot is like building a powerful defensive shield. And when you combine that with diligent hand washing and just staying home when you're sick, you can stop the invasion before it ever reaches your shores. You made it through. You survived the 8-day war. So the question now is, what's your plan? How are you going to use this intelligence to reinforce your own defenses before the next season inevitably begins?